What is the best movie quote you have ever heard? The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy, it's that I just don't care. Office Space. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer. Minus Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. We train young men to drop fire on people, but their commanders won't allow them to write fuck on their airplanes because it's obscene. Hell of a thing, killing a man. Take away all he's got, and all he's ever gonna have. It's too bad she won't live, but then again, who does? So many good ones from Blade Runner. In response to well sir, you are a cowardly son of a bitch. You just shot an unarmed man. Greater than well he shall have armed himself if he's gonna decorate his saloon with my friend. I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. Minus Bilbo. I'd ask you about love, you'd probably quote me a sonnet. But you've never looked at a woman and been totally vulnerable. Known someone that could level you with her eyes, feeling like God put an angel on earth just for you, who could rescue you from the depths of hell, and you wouldn't know what it's like to be her angel, to have that love for her, be there forever, through anything, through cancer, and you wouldn't know about sitting up in the hospital room for 2 months, holding her hand, because the doctors could see in your eyes that the terms visiting hours don't apply to you. You don't know about real loss, 'cause it only occurs when you've loved something more than you love yourself. From the movie, Good Will Hunting. I'm tired, boss. Tired of being on the road, lonely as a sparrow in the rain. I'm tired of never having me a buddy to be with to tell me where he's going to, coming from, or why. Mostly, I'm tired of people being ugly to each other. I'm tired of all the pain I feel and hear in the world, every day. There's too much of it. It's like pieces of glass in my head, all the time. Can you understand? Do you think God stays in heaven because he, too, lives in fear of what he's created here on earth? All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. I love rumors. Facts can be so misleading, where rumors, true or false, are often revealing. Minus Christopher Waltz. Edit. Obviously I'm talking about the lesser-known Christopher, who coined the phrase and was only later used in the movie. You can stop correcting me now. It's like the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were, and sometimes you didn't want to know the end because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad has happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. I know now folks in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going because they were holding on to something. That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. Minus Samwise Gamgee. Remember, Red, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Minus Andy Dufresne. Minus The Shawshank Redemption. In a thick Gloucester accent. No luck catching them killers then. It's just the one killer actually. Stop breaking the law, asshole. We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for. No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world. We're not laughing at you, we're laughing near you. There's a time for daring and there's a time for caution, and a wise man understands which is called for. Mr. John Keating, Dead Poets Society. Hey, laser lips, your mama was a snowblower. Minus number 5, Short Circuit. Be excellent to each other. You have to know, not fear that someday you are going to die. Fight Club. I've always found this line very liberating. When King Lear dies in Act 5, do you know what Shakespeare has written? He has written, he dies. No more. No fanfare. No metaphor. No brilliant final words. The culmination of the most influential piece of dramatic literature is, he dies. Now I am not asking you to be happy at my leaving, but all I ask you to do is to turn the page and let the next story begin. Mr. Megorium. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. No time for love, Dr. Jones. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Minus Rocky. Edit. My first reward ever. Thank you, kind stranger. Edit 2. And my first gold. Best cake day ever. Thank you, kind sir. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. You know, one time we had a hill bombed for 12 hours. When it was all over, I walked up. We didn't find one of not one stinking dink body. The smell, you know that gasoline smell. The whole hill smelled like victory. Someday this war's gonna end. Minus still call Bill Kilgore, Robert Duvall, Apocalypse Now. You don't peddle 500 million pounds of candy without killing a few kids. English motherfucker, do you speak it? Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them? Then do not be too eager to deal out death in judgment. I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to music in the late 90s. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world he didn't exist. I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. Leave the gun, take the cannoli. I'm paraphrasing the setup a bit. Evil Ash, you won't shoot me, because you're good. I'm Evil Ash and you're good Ash. You're a goody little two shoes. Goody little two shoes. Goody little two shoes. Ash shoots Evil Ash with his shotgun. Ash, good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun. I'm having an old friend for dinner. Who said that? Who the fuck said that? Who's the slimy little communist cheat? Twinkle-toed cocksucker down there who just signed his own death warrant. Nobody. Huh. The fairy fucking godmother said it. Out fucking standing. I'll PT you all until you fucking die. I'll PT you until your assholes are sucking buttermilk. Gunnery's Hartman. Full Metal Jacket. Edit it even better in Italian. https://youtube.b/hbcl. He punched the highlights out of her hair. Minus Scott Pilgrim's The World. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Well, John wasn't exactly the boobman. He was the one you sent to kill the fucking boobman. It's just a flesh wound. For you, that day was the most important of your life. For me it was just a Tuesday. My first Reddit award. Thank you, stranger. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Edit. I never thought this was gonna be my most upvoted post. Inconceivable. Robert Shaw as Quentin Jaws gave the greatest monologue of all time. Japanese submarine slammed 2 torpedoes into our side. Chief. It was Komin. Back. From the island of Tinian too late. Just delivered the bomb. The Hiroshima bomb. 1,100 men went into the water. Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about a half an hour. Tiger. 13-footer. You know that when you're in the water, Chief. You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail. Well, we didn't know. 'Cause our bomb mission had been so secret. No distress signal had been sent. They didn't even list us overdue for a week. Very first light. Chief. The sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. You know it's kinda like old squares in battle like you see on a calendar. like the Battle of Waterloo. And the idea was, the shark nearest man, and then he'd start pounding, and hollering, and screaming, and sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eye. When he comes at ya, doesn't seem to be living, until he bites ya and those black eyes roll over white. And then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming, and the ocean turns red, and spite of all the pounding, and the hollering, they all come in and rip you to pieces. You know, by the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men. I don't know how many sharks, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many men, they averaged 6 an hour. On Thursday morning, Chief, I bumped into a friend of mine, Herbie Robinson from Cleveland. Baseball player, bosun's mate. I thought he was asleep, reached over to wake him up, bobbed up and down in the water, just like a kinder top, upended. Well, he'd been bitten in half below the waist. Noon the 5th day, Mr. Hooper, a Lockheed Venturer, saw us. He swung in low and he saw us. He'd a young pilot, a lot younger than Mr. Hooper. Anyway, he saw us and come in low. And 3 hours later a big fat PBY comes down and start to pick us up. You know, that was the time I was most frightened. Waiting for my turn. He'll never put on a life jacket again. So, 1,100 men went in the water. 316 men come out. The sharks took the rest. June the 29, 1945. Anyway, we delivered the bomb. I Love You in Wall Street. Minus Charlie and Martin Sheen to each other in Hot Shots. Part 2. https://www.youtube.com/watch v=tope3 if. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, Commander of the Armies of the North, General of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true Emperor, Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance, in this life or the next. From Gladiator. If you live under a rock, you ain't gonna believe this, but you used to fit right here. He gestures to the palm of his hand. Hold you up to say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody I ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you. Every day was like a privilege. Then the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world. And you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits. And not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him, or her, or anybody. Cowards do that and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always gonna love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son and you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't gonna have a life. Minus Rocky Balboa. Subscribe, like and comment if you hate outros, begging you to subscribe, like and comment.